team pick.
League's assassin.
Radiant team pick.
So you're having both an Ember and a Wind Ranger in your draft. It's just going to be a safe lane Ember.
I mean, it's either safe lane Ember and mid Wind Ranger, or it's a 5 Wind Ranger.
Can that work with the bounties?
Could also be an offlane Wind Ranger.
It could.
And we did talk about how Rubik is a pretty meh laning support.
Okay.
Slaughter Crush is like, it's not that much damage, and they probably have issues with whatever safe laner against some Wind Ranger. Maybe also a little bit of a prediction pick, thinking like, hey, they want the Nakes, like 4th pick or something like that, the Lifestealer. Obviously pairs super well with the Slaughter, and Wind Ranger is a hero that can kind of just sit in the lane. That Lifestealer does basically nothing to you. Got almost an instant on if you get a Blink Dagger at some point. Focus Fire can be nice to get some damage items like instant later on, kind of a low armor hero, so potentially could be an offlane. And they just pick these like really strong laning heroes, these heroes that the Bounty Hunter can rotate to and like have kill potential. Because if the Bounty Hunter comes to the top with the Wind Ranger, the level 1 power shots, the 8 billion damage or whatever, they could pretty easily like punish these supports.
Yeah, I mean it feels definitely, you know, with the start on next, as you said, elements would almost certainly be wanting to pick Lifesteal. Is that kind of Wind Ranger and Terrorblade feel enough to just stop you picking the hero entirely?
Yeah, I don't think you ever pick a Nags into a Terrorblade. Especially with a Bounty Hunter in the pool, you can just, like, they always just see where you're going, and so you can play around that. And if you're not getting these pickoffs, if you're not having a super good laning stage, then Terrorblade gets, you know, the Mantis Scotty, and then it's just over.
Elements maybe in a bit of a tricky situation. He's going right to this bonus time.
Are they gonna take the Slark? Are they gonna switch them to Slark?
I mean, I feel, you know, we talked about the Lifestealer not being good. Is PA really that much better of a solution? I mean, surely he still suffers from similar issues against the Wind Ranger and the Terrorblade, unless he's hitting the
10 seconds
right?
remaining.
It looks like a terrible PA game.
5 seconds
It's
remaining.
pretty bad versus the Terrorblade, pretty bad versus the Wind Ranger.
I mean, he gets blown up by the Ember.
Yeah, blown up by Ember. You really don't like getting tracked on that hero, because then people just like kind of run away from you. The Shuriken is a decent amount of burst damage.
I mean, it's nice with the Slaughter. It feels like maybe this is what Elements wanted to do, but you feel that maybe they're not thinking too much about how well Secret
10 seconds
is prepared
remaining.
to deal with a pick like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did want the Lifestealer, and maybe they think the PA is a better.
It's better than the Lifestealer.
I think maybe it's better than the Lifestealer.
Reserve time.
I say that, but it's so bad versus
10
Ember
seconds
Spirit.
remaining.
There are a whole lot of single target, and there are a lot of single target versus Terrorblade and versus lane. Okay, so they do. All right, it's mid. I knew they were gonna pick Slark. It's Swift ending Slark. All right, so whoa.
Oh, and then instantly they were not hesitating their Secret.
Oh boy.
I mean, you said the Swift ending Slark, something that we know that Elements are good at. Do you think Secret knew that the Slark was coming? They were like, all right.
I think they were fine with the Slark.
Yeah. So the Broodmother, the final pick. And it is indeed, by the looks of it, going to be that position 5 or 4 Wind Ranger.
Yeah, either a 5 or 4 Bounty Hunter. We'll see which one ends up being. I think that it may be pretty flexible. I don't think it matters too much.
Kind of on a similar level in terms of what they're going to get done. But very interesting finisher from Secret. I mean, it feels like Secret had the more confident draft. Like they knew what they were going to do with that final pickup. But the question is, can Elements make it work? PA and Slark,
10
their last
seconds
2.
remaining.
I think they're like very all in on this.
5
Like,
seconds remaining.
just picking hero.
Find the
Yeah, PA, Nick, single target damage, pick off. But I feel like whenever your lanes are gonna do as badly as they are, Ember is favored against the PA. This Broodmother is gonna have a very nice top, I think. Actually, I don't know how nice of a time he will have. To be honest, I think Slark is one of the better carries against the Brood. I think if you give the Slark a decent start, he can actually solo, not too badly. I guess the Brood, you give him like a level 2, level 3 to give him a sentry in the lane. I think he can do okay.
And of course, they are going to get to that point as well, EPG, with it. They do have the Slaughter. They've got means of
Yeah, for sure. I think sort of the only problem is they really just don't have the greatest of means to deal with this Terrorblade. You know, the Slark is known for being a pretty good carry against the Terrorblight, and they have a lot of stuns for sure, but it's a lot of single target stuns, and it's it's just all of this like single target focus. And whenever you have heroes like that, there's this innate risk of if you're not killing that hero, if you're not blowing up one hero at the start of a fight, then things can turn very, very grim very quickly. They really don't have great lane pushes. They have like there are 3 heroes that all just kind of want to run heroes Lord once to be up the map. Rubik is really the only hero that is like okay with being in lanes and pushing them out. So they also have this bounty hunter to scout it out. I feel like this bounty, even though it was first pick, ends up being very, very good against the style they're wanting to play.
I mean, that really is the thing. EPG, how are they taking towers from the start?
Yeah, they really just need to kill heroes.
They just got to get those kills, haven't they? They really have, but as we kind of mentioned in the draft, Secret have very good means of killing the lineup of EPG.
Yeah, they can maybe take this top tower. If they give the Slaughter a decent start, then they like wrap the Slaughter and the Rubik around behind the tower. They pushed it in, maybe kill the Brood that way, but it's really tricky because it's a Brood. It's not some normal offline. Like off-finish trees, farming jungle camps, and starting up these 2 heroes up here. They're gonna punish the Slark so much. He doesn't have to actually walk it job, so it's gonna take ways to get up to that point. He may get punished until he gets up to that.
Straight blows at the moment. Now to bring in Pi as well. Goes for the first power shot. And Secret with the 3 of them up top, going head to head with the Triland of EPG at the moment. That will leave the other lanes to the straight one. Mid one, straight up against Gogi on his PA, down on the bottom lane. MP. Puppy feeling very safe and confident, close and personal with the supports of EPG, harassing them back. I mean, now this lane situation starts to settle down like this. Is this fine for Secret, you feel? Leaving the Terrorblade on his own against the Nix as MP going to have a fine time, or can the Nix cause some issues?
No, I think he'll do absolutely fine there. Once the performance, he'll have a Boiling Blade, lots of trade farm. And I think at some point, once the Terrorblade can be like level 4, level 5, the Bounty Hunter can potentially rotate down here. Try and kill this Nix assassin and then take his tower. EPG's hero is sort of another thing. Rubik is really their only tower defense. He's pretty committed up to his top lane, helping out the Slark and dealing with these multiple heroes. So if the Bounty Hunter makes a smart rotation on the bottom once he gets some levels, he can maybe kill this Nix and then take the bottom tower and open up the map for the Terrorblade to farm.
It's this mid one getting very aggressive, knowing it's unlike the EPG sending any backup with the pressure that the rest of his side's putting on up top. And already the mid lane CS, 14 for 2, 7 for 0. And the Spirit certainly having the favourable time in this 1v1.
Yeah, he is, Ember loves just having these matchups where it's melee versus melee, because, obviously, if you can't break his flame guard and you're melee, then you're going to have a real hard time dealing with him constantly just walking up to you and popping a flame guard. And now that he's level 4, has the 2 points of chain, PA can definitely die. I don't think you can use Phantom Strike whenever you're chained. So you're kind of just stuck there, you get burnt down, and then by that time your wave has just started, it's not behind you, it's like right next to you, so you're not really blinking away. And I think mid one very happy with the lane, especially kind of on his tail. It's going to push back out, so I don't think it'll be the worst thing in the world for Gogi. He can last 50 daggers and worst comes to worst, so get that one there. But yeah, I think mid one very, very happy with this, and it's not the greatest effort game as far as like hero versus hero matchups wise. They do have the Nix, they have Slaughter, they have a fair amount of staples for him, but I think the bigger thing is that the cores just really don't touch this Emperor Spirit. It's more the supports do as well, but they're not having a good game, so.
Looking at Puppy as well at the moment on this bounty early on, what does he have to find himself involvement in kills, or is he fine just kind of playing getting the vision, eventually getting the 6, or does Secret need to up the pace early on this game?
I think as long as he's like securing farm for his cores, as long as he's keeping heroes in place, is just being a nuisance, letting his cores get these 1v1s. You see MP doing very, very well on bottom off like 7 CS, with mid one having a great time mid, Keizu doing great up top. I think that's like all Puppy needs to do. These heroes having a great time, and he may even try and send Courier directly. Actually, loses vision just barely. Yeah, keeping the supports pinned up there. They're both only level 1. Both the supports at 4 minutes. It's quite grim. And if they don't have the kind of levels that they need, if they don't have level 3, level 4, then this Brood is just kind of unkillable, and it's going to be a path.
Mid lane, like a bit of a go-in. Find him across as well. James is going to connect. They're finding with the shackle shot. Go to get himself back to safety. Has the presence of Cole in the neighborhood as well, in case things get a little too nasty. And also LeBron heading across. Prepare for any sort of action. Just trying to mirror the
In their strength, now
make sure that
rekindle.
any issues with their own cause on the side of the pro game.
Double damage.
Yeah, big CD there. We're trying to kill him.
The Brom's actually out to find the CD. This one in a lot of trouble, and he's gone first blood. But Elements, despite the pressure that Secret's been putting on, Gogi is going to be over the moon with that one.
Yeah, his chains were on cooldown for 1 second, so wasn't able to change the slide art whenever he was running up. It was just barely. I'm sure he was slamming his Q key, but just barely gets the stun off, and mid one goes down. It's definitely the kind of stuff they need. They need to find these kills. Unfortunate scenarios where just the spell was cooldown for just a little bit. They get this pick me up kill, and it puts PA a little bit ahead, Ember a little bit behind. They really need stuff like that because this Lark he's getting some farm up top, but it's not the.
You know, despite the pressure, I mean, it's not the best farm. It's not free farm, but they didn't really shut him down. It doesn't feel like. 28 CS. He's only a few behind, half a wave or so behind MP. And MP had a very kind of undisturbed lane, only Mitch in the neighborhood, no support rotations whatsoever. So, all things considered, this isn't too bad for Swift.
No, not at all. And Slark is one of the better heroes versus the Brood. Once you have the Shadow Blade, you can start hunting through the jungle. You get your team to buy you a gem, although the support's maybe a little hard pressed to build up that amount of gold. But once you get the gem, you get the Shadow Blade, you just start running through your jungle all the time, and it's just free kills with this Brood. Doesn't really build any HP items for quite some time.
Dire's top tower is under
Heck, let's see
attack.
what he goes. Yeah, the Slark has a very nice time versus the Brood. And it's a pretty nice Slark game in general. It can be rough versus Ember if you're behind. You can't really man fight him, but if you get to that point where you have the bash, you have the BKB, you can sit there and man fight the Ember. It can actually turn it to Slark's favor.
Five down in on this bomb. Just back up MP. Jackal Shot's going to do absolutely nothing.
Out of the vein.
With the lockdown, take down MP. I have to say, this is EPG certainly using the tools that they have to match. 2 kills on the board, and Secret, they were able to secure the farm lane, but it doesn't necessarily feel like they were able to do enough in terms of shutting down Hero. Swift then in trouble top. He's going to pounce out, has a TP at the ready. Puppy is hunting for him. Needs to TP out as the backup comes through from LeBron. And again, Secret unable to find a kill now.
Yeah, I think this top tower not being taken yet is pretty huge for EPG. As I say that MP is up here, so this tower is definitely going down. 3 points in the meta, 4 points to conjure him, and you may not even need to use the metamorphosis. Yeah, I think keeping that top tower alive for as long as they did is very, very nice for the for Slark and just for EPG in general. It forces this Brood to continue to be up here. But I think taking this tower now, he's going to have more space around his side, while Highlight I get this farm bottom, so it's kind of low on levels because they were pressuring top in sort of a tri-lane scenario. So now can come down to bottom, get up a little bit more level, and they get to that forward press at a reasonable time. So I think it was really, really good for this game.
Mitch was a little bit of action there. Unfortunately, the Poppy does saw the illusion being taken, and they saw the illusions already. It's well out of the way, back to safety. Top lane MP. Certainly Pops has put a bit of harassment on in the second. Elements will react. They have 4 members up here. Mitch, Vendetta, of course, still on cooldown. It's pretty hard for them to jump into anything, so he'll TP to the mid lane. Make sure that Gogi is a secret. Just continue to try and maintain vision of the presence. Back up the sketches. On the top lane. Trying their best to bring down this tier 2. Elements are suffering to stop this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think this is a super good rotation from Secret. They're forcing a whole lot of heroes from EPG up here. It's very selfless play. MP not just sitting bottom, focusing on his own farm will give Highlight Ice in space, so it goes from level 3 to level 5 now. Probably working towards phase boots or just getting a wand, getting range up, getting these small items is really, really nice. Just for quality of life for the supports. Mid one getting free
Oh,
farms.
look at this puppy, the courier hunter. He's only gone and found it. It was hiding in the tree line there. I mean, they did have an observer ward just round the corner. I don't know if it necessarily came across that path or maybe past this one, and he didn't see it move any further. But he knew they were hiding it there, and he found it and he took it down.
Yeah, so he gives him some nice XP. He was only like level 3 at the time, so not gonna be the fastest track. He did end up bringing down the Brood.
Those fade ball bounces there. Forever. And indeed, the Spiders taking down that bottom lane. They did end up getting the kill on the start. One moved in. Right. Jackal. Back down to another burning flame guard.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Getting themselves a couple of kills on the map. Mid lane, Gogi going in very heavily onto Secret here behind the tower. He's gonna have to start to back up. TP's coming through. But not actually gonna be punished for that one at all. Gogi, knowing that he had the space and place to go in hard hitting. Certainly put a shiver down Puppy's spine.
Yeah, just pressuring a little bit, doing whatever he can. It's kind of hard for him to do anything after those initial rotations. They did get some kills. And the PA had a better start than I think we expected, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Still not really in a position where he can do so much. They're kind of just waiting for this Slark Shadow Blade, and they can essentially go around and make things happen, make space for the rest of his team, make space for the Slaughter to get to his Blink Dagger. I think is kind of what they're waiting for. Until that point, they kind of have a hard time doing anything. And the Terror Blade's Metamorphosis is up, so we'll see if they make a move for that, or if they just want to farm until Dragon lands on the Terror Blade, or what they're waiting for. Mid one actually went for the Boots of Travel first, which I think is really good this game. It allows him to be like he is right now, play down in bottom lane, play more of this role where he can keep the lanes out.
Not just the one random scores with the change, he gets a second. Mid one, and entirely outplaying there. LeBron and Mitch, the two of them moved in on him to drop the kill happen. But mid one just turns it around beautifully. At the same time, Secret not only taking the tier 1 in the mid lane, ready to put on pressure onto the tier 2. So, north lane, Swift, fine playing around Puppy. He has nearly got that Shadow Blade, and as you said, that could be the thing. He has the Scarlet kills, but mid lane again, they've lost the Rubik. High. I don't think he's going to have level 4 power shot. He is going to try for it, and was close. Not quite close enough. Not quite enough damage to take it. The space is there. Secret, they get enough for tier 2. They've lost and they've lost Pylai Die. They're trying their best to finish this down. They're not going to be able to do it. They don't have the damage. As Bagger regeneration kicks in, that's allowing EPG to fight around the tower, get themselves a double kill for Gogi, and also deny the tower. So, off the back of kind of a good bit of momentum for Secret, fortune turns in EPG's favour.
Yeah, I don't think they're too sad about that though. At the very least, they get this tier 2 tower down, and a tier 2 falling at 12 minutes, especially the mid one, is absolutely massive. Makes it very, very difficult for them to move around the map, and gives Secret, it lets this bounty hunter scout even deeper, get even deeper wards much more easily. Mid one actually going into the Maelstrom now instead of.
Yeah. So skipping the Veil in favour of that. Do you imagine he will go back for the Veil? Or?
I don't think so. I don't think it's particularly good this game. The armor is nice for sure versus Slaughter, but it's not a game where you just want to walk around as 5 with your team. You have heroes that they kind of want to be together. You have this, the Terror Blade, the Wind Ranger, the Brood. They're all gonna sort of be in these stationary places. So you want this more mobile hero in the Ember that can actually get around and do things. You're not just this 5-man lineup. You're not gonna just walk down lanes. You aren't gonna be constantly fighting with the Veil. So it gets the Aquila instead for some of that armor. Is kind of nice. It gives them the mana regen. And it's what we've seen a lot of the Chinese players start going for, is just not skipping the Veil and going straight into this Maelstrom. You farm very, very fast getting the Maelstrom this early on with the Slight, and it also just gives you a ton of damage. So I think it's quite good this game, makes him a lot more mobile.
Oh, Mitch and Swift ending on the hunt. Secret to have a few members about, but Gogi turning up his wild hands. Desolated complete immediately with the stun, the catch out. From Mitch and Swift, they'll take down the Ember. Swift now looking towards MP, and they're only going to go find that one as well. The crit comes through as they'll take him down. They will end up losing the PA and probably pick him off on the way back out. Mitch Shackle trying to fly, holding back the two of them. Same time, first kiss. In the mid finds the Rubik. So it ends up being a 2 for 2. Obviously, EPG will still be the happy if they take down both of the cores of Seeker.
Yeah, I think this Terrorblade continuing to fall like this is giving a glimmer of hope to EPG. Thought originally at the draft there was just no way they could really take this game with all these just random single target heroes, a lot of gankers, very one-dimensional, but they've been getting the kills, they've been finding the things they need to, and MP going down 3 times already. Only has the Dragon Lance and working towards that Yasha, so not really in this position where you're a Terrorblade, you just walk up to the buildings, they can't touch you, and you just kill everything. You start getting a couple of pick-me-up kills here and there. Now has the Oblivion Staff on top of the Shadowblade, despite getting tri-laned early on, which typically as a Slark you think of as just the nail in the coffin, but has the gem now as well that we talked about, so he's going to go hunting for Kezu.
Yeah, getting a gem this timing on Slark as well, you're going to be able to get some really strong control of the map, aren't you? Secret 2 halfways of catching him, for sure, but if he can get the edge, he can get the kills.
He knows. I think he saw him, barely.
He'll be able to give a nice bit of spider gold there, though, to Swift Ending and Cole. They clean that out. Same time, though, Secret are grouping up as a 4. Will look to take the tier 2. Can EPG finds this one? LeBron heading forward. Immediately changed up. Ripped to pieces of pie as the Shackle shot coming in. Another TP and a fortification coming from EPG. They're going to try their best to hold this one off. With the stun. EPG on the back door, bursting down hole, taking Boogie, gets the tower as well. EPG, they've lost 3, and maybe even more with a shackle shot like that. Pie finds Mitch, in comes the Shuriken, Mid-1 picks up a triple. Despite EPG's best efforts to hold, they end up giving Mid-1 a triple kill, and gets the tower gold as well, so Mid-1 shooting himself straight up the top of the board. 9.4k net worth at the moment on this Ember.
Yeah, and actually going for an early Shivas.
Interesting build.
Yeah, he's really mixing things up, and he's a player that isn't really afraid to change builds up, to go a little bit unorthodox if it suits the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think picking up this plate mail is super good in this game. They're like almost all physical damage, they're almost all single target. The Shivas is very good versus heroes that don't typically build a lot of attack speed. PA, the Slark. They'll build attack speed a little bit later as the game goes on, but a lot more right now just about these, quick few attacks to try and burst the hero. Even just this casual plate mail increases his tankiness so much, and lets him play, continually just jump into the middle of heroes and not get bursted down. We saw at the Q2.
Swift, as found Keswick too, actually just happily skips himself over the walls of the Roche pit and back out of harm's way. And very shortly, those sort of movements aren't going to work at all because Kezu, he's very close to having the money for the BKB. And once he has that, it's going to be very hard to slide to solo kill LeBron. Tracked up, chased down, Mid-1 comes in with the chain. Has to hold it back, enough stun. Just not enough. Puppey saved by MP there with the Sunder. Puppey will still go down though. A loser 1 for 1. MP, his best efforts there to save his captain. Nearly put his own life in danger. Doesn't end up paying off though. EPG, the 1-1 trade there.
Yeah, they didn't use the Metamorphosis in that fight. I'm not sure if it was not up or if they just didn't want to pop it, but only has the Yashi. Still kind of wants to chill and farm a little bit on this Terrorblade. Mid-1, a super dominant position, and after. Oh wow, nice jack.
Follow through from Mid-1. They're going to get themselves a kill. Highlight certainly making it work. We're still in that lane. Myself can catch up to a good position. He's going to be going to Midas as well. He'll scale up very nicely with that Midas being cold as well. I think he can finding more kills as the game progresses. EPG being forced back here. Secret trying to maintain good control around the Roche pit. Pretty crucial they do so, I guess, as well. But with the Slardar and the PA, there's definitely potential for EPG to make short work of that Roche pit, and Secret realize.
Yeah, that's definitely a way for them back into this game. And I think this game starts getting hard for EPG because they lost all these towers early on. Slark is typically known as a good hero versus the Terrorblade because you hold your towers up and then he's this hero that you really don't want to push to these towers whenever you don't have vision. And so the Slark is just at nighttime, you can see everything, you know which heroes to jump. Spidey senses. EPG weren't moving fully in there. 4
one-man smoke rotation. Gets himself out of harm's way. Kezu, of course, now has that completed BKB, so he is going to feel a lot more confident going out across the map against this start. Still maintains that Shadow Blade and Gem. And in fact, talking about the guy, they've got eyes on him at the moment. Puppy, track, they blow him up.
They really don't want to lose that Gem.
Got to keep Swift safe. And he's feeling fairly safe. As we saw there, in terms of catch, they don't have the best. You know, most of the time Swift ending, unless he gets caught out by a perfect Jackal shot in between dark packs, he should be able to play his way out of any movement from Secret.
Yeah, I think sort of the issue is that he can't really make moves into Secret very well either.
He can't play anything offensive.
Yeah, so he can sort of go around the map, he can split lanes, get up to whatever items he can. And I think when he gets to Silver Edge as well as the BKB, he'll be in a pretty good position to fight. He kind of wants a basher as well. Like it's definitely a game where Slark can thrive when he starts getting his items online. And Swift Ending, probably considered one of the best Slark players. He's played Zero for a long time. He's definitely his best hero. So very well versed on him. Yeah, picks Silver Edge now. This sort of becomes the issue though whenever you lose all your towers this early on. Versus an Ember Spear, versus a start losing map control and then take objectives with absolutely no trade-off.
Puppy now with the Solar Crest complete, so really getting the tools together to allow MPs to stand on that upper ground and be beefed up by his backline support.
Yeah, full Shiva's on mid one now as well, so he is so far.
Yeah, he's having an insane game on the Ember. Definitely one of his heroes that you can expect to see such performances. Certainly getting one this game. I guess the question really is just where does he go next? Are we going to see anything else a little bit interesting? Do you think does he just upgrade the mount and he goes to light for this? Are we going to get a blink picked up?
I think a blink would be fine. I think he may end up going for a blink. I don't think there's any item that's particularly amazing in this game. It's still possible for him to go down. The Octarine feels a little off here. It doesn't feel like it would do so much. The HP is kind of nice. But it's you kind of just want to be able to get on top of him, so I think he may end up actually going for the Blink Dagger. We'll have to see. I don't think any item particularly makes him that much stronger. I think he's extremely strong right now, and is like very down to fight. And I don't think any item will like actually increase how strong he is by that big of a margin. And I also don't think he's gonna get that much weaker for quite some time to come.
No. It's definitely gonna have that advantage for quite some time. Swift Ending, actually, interesting enough, he's queued up the Lincoln Sphere. So, I mean, obviously once he gets that, he is going to be even harder to deal with in terms of killing, but it's still going to prolong the time until he's actually able to be that much of a scary threat himself, surely. Going there for this defensive sort of build, statting up and lacking control in that.
Yeah, it's a little bit unusual. Most Slarks we see, if they're going to go for Lincolns, they will skip the Echo Saber, and they'll just go straight to the Silver Edge and then to the Lincolns afterwards. Because whenever you go for that, the Echo Saber and the Lincolns, like you said, it's a lot of just tanky items that they both sort of give you the same thing. It's stats, it's mana regen, and it gets a little bit redundant. So we'll see if we can please with the present quick buy.
I guess it kind of works because they have the PA being the big damage dealer. As I say that, the PA is not going to be dealing any damage from the Brave. It's down 50. Mid, just diving past his tier 3. Swift is trying to come forward. Pops the Shadow Dance, but he immediately has to get out of there. And just like that, I mean, Fortification will come through, but
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
and they just lose Rex off the back of it. Metamorphosis is up and Secret are ready to push.
Yeah, the PA is still down for 30 seconds. There's no way they can fight into this. Whenever Secret gets that up, they just can't do anything.
Wow. To all fall apart for Elements. Just like that. Track kill after track kill is not going to get pretty for the financial situation here. On the side of Elements, Secret. It felt slow start. Certainly felt like they were starting to gain that momentum, that edge. But bam, certainly just like that. It all comes together. EPG, they just don't seem to have an answer. They've lost one reactor. They're on the verge of losing a second, and they're losing hero after hero. Oh, but they make it the end, but they do. He's got the ages though. We'll be back for round 2. Gogi pops the BKB. Trying to look to finish off Kezu, but Kezu lifesteal is going to be enough. Again, MP with the defensive Sunders saving the Spider. Mid-one remnants away from the aggressive movement. As Secret have ended the game. It feels like very, very shortly.
Let me out of here.
Buyback will come out from Swift. But they've lost 2 racks. Rain drops are being dropped on the ground. The tears of Elements Gaming left in the base. As they will hold on. They'll keep themselves in. But only just. This game has very drastically gone out of control for Elements.
I think Elements, with the draft they had, they kind of did what they needed to do. That gave Swift Ending a pretty decent lane at that early gem. Actually able to kill the Brute. Just the one death. This Blink Dagger just came online too late. You've got a Slaughter, you have a Nyx, you have a P. Like they have so many heroes that all sort of do the same thing. I think Secret just a much more well-rounded lineup, and Mid-one actually going for the BKB. So
no messing really.
Yeah, so basically it makes him unkillable.
Yep.
Any HP item it would be nice. He maybe survive for a little bit longer, but if he gets jumped by the Slaughter and the PA, can still die within the duration of a crush. Possibly if he gets a split or two. So BKB makes it where he can just basically can't die with the armor as well. And they're not messing around. Like you said, they're just gonna go end the game. It looks like.
Yeah, they're ready to go for another push up top. I mean, we saw what in the last how many buybacks we used. It was just the 2. Okay. So, but it was Swift Endings being the key one that did come out in that fight. And here we go. EPG, they've had trouble slowing this down twice. Good a 3rd time. Good stun on to Mid-one. Gets the BKB out. Again, MP. Pretty much just been the sun machine on the back line. The vent comes through. In fact, MP's out. He's down. We'll get bursted down by a Fade Bolt. So they have lost the Terrorblade. That is a large part of Secret's push. And in fact, EPG may get more. They get the stun onto Ember Spirit. Mid-one down. That's Gem dropping onto the decks as well. As a lot of money goes the way of Gogi with that pick-off. And Secret, they're losing more. The Amplify, with the stun, the control onto Kezu. Kill after kill after kill. Can they? They can't get the extra kill. Kai out just in time. LeBron did come searching. Couldn't quite get there in time. Elements. Against the Elements, they hold out. They hold on that top defense. Get some big kills, some big cash influx.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy for Mid-one. Just dives way behind the tower, didn't actually get the latch, and then immediately the Nyx jumps in, carapaces him, and the Rubik actually making a huge play, stole the Remnant, then triple Remnanted on the Terrorblade and nuked him after he had sundered his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, we see MP, he's consistently just trying to save his teammates. And
yeah,
most of the times it's paid off, but that time it left him in a bit of a precarious position.
Yeah, and I think they thought they could maybe turn it around if he had swapped HPs with the Ember Spirit. They can maybe fight there, but instead they lose 3 cores, and EPG, they hold the high ground, slowly working towards that next set of items. But I don't know how much that next set of items will actually do for EPG. They kind of need to do that again. Secret to get a little over aggressive, kind of throw at the high ground out of that, or they find some pickoffs around the map. Swift Ending maybe skirt through the jungle, try and find some solo heroes. He does have the gem.
I like this decision as well from Swift to go for the BKB instead. It just feels like a better game for the BKB.
Yeah, I think so. It's not, the Ember not being able to just drop the triple Remnant while you're ultied is super nice. It's just so much damage. It'll block like the track or something, but that's not really something you care about all that much. You're purging it off the Dark Pack, getting a BKB does basically the same thing. It's sort of a game where, as EPG, you kind of need to just full commit to these fights. You need to find an opportunity, and everybody just goes in and you commit, because you're not really, playing in and out with an Ember Spirit who's going to be rooting you. A Terrorblade is going to be consistently just dishing out right click. And if you're not killing them, very, very quickly, then you'll kind of have issues. Whereas Linkens is more of an item for these long, drawn-out fights where you want to dodge specific spells consistently. It's hard to lock down.
Oh, and saying that, he says screw the BKB and picks up the Diffusal.
To purge Windrun?
You can purge the Flame Guard?
Yeah, and Windrun.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting choice. I mean, that does give you a bit of the damage and a bit of the control that we talked about. They have a Bastion now on Gogi as well.
I think that may be necessary. I think they realize that if Secret plays this game safe and they just push the
Oh, smoke dispelled.
that's such a good position from everyone.
Enya sitting there, and Secret may want to fight this. One track out. One not to latch. Kezu immediately whisked to pieces the Rubik. Gogi in trouble. His BKB is trying to get his way out of this, but the chase down is there. Swift endings down and out. 3 dead on EPG, and that's not going to be the end of the casualties. They'll move on for another triple kill for Kezu. GG is called, and there was maybe small hopes for EPG to pull off one last defense step with the Bastion and refusal to come, but it wasn't enough at the end of the day against how much Secret they managed to work on. The amount of damage they got done with that initial push onto the bottom of mid lane ranks. It was always going to be very